You're listening to the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by Referral Mortgages and Blue Panda Realty, with your hosts, Paul Stevenson, David Warren, and Greg Campbell. Let's see what's going on in the world of real estate in our nation's capital.
Yes. We are back. It is toe rep. The Ottawa Real Estate Podcast.
Same thing as usual. Paul intros, Greg laughs.
I just threw it out there. Toe repping. My name is Paul Stevenson. I'm one of the owners of Referral Mortgages, also a mortgage agent. I'm here, as always, with Greg Campbell and David Warren. Greg Campbell is a partner at Blue Panda Realty. David Warren, my business partner at Referral Mortgages, also an owner, a mortgage agent. And we're here every week to talk about real estate, mortgages, whatever else we want to talk about. Today is near the end of November. And I like to tell myself jokes. I just say things and laugh to myself.
You do.
How are you guys doing?
Your mic is exceptionally hot there, Paul. I don't know what's going on.
It's because I'm leaning into it. How's that? Is that better?
Much better.
Just sit back. Just sit
all right.
back.
Stop being so enthusiastic.
Yeah. Stop being so excited on a Monday.
So what's up, guys? Weekend's good. Weekend was good.
Yeah.
I'll let Dave go first. First this week.
No, it was good for me. I pretty well took it easy all weekends. Did something I haven't done before. Was I ordered a movie that is in theaters right now. Ordered that. Ordered the Bond. Watched that at home, which was very odd. But to pay $25 for a movie to watch it at home.
Yeah.
But just out of the times. Actually,
I did the same thing.
To be honest.
Yeah, I did the same thing with the Bond movie last weekend.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm not alone in this.
No.
All right.
No.
I want to see the new Will Smith movie. I'd like to see King
Richard.
Oh, yeah.
King Richard.
I
was going to say King Arthur. I'm like, that's not the right
Venus
name.
Williams movie.
We're in this weird spot with movies now where movies were like, I really liked going to the movies in the pandemic because they would like block the seats out next to you. And there were like, no one was sitting next to you in the theater. But now the capacity restrictions are gone and it's like full crammed in there, like next to everybody. Like, nah, I'm not about that anymore. I don't like, it's not even about COVID or anything. It's just, I don't like people. And I don't want to be there with them.
What are all these other people doing in this public theater?
That's fair.
I used to be the guy that would always be like, go to the movies. When friends would be like, go to the movies, I'd be like, look, I'll go to the movies with you as long as we go early, because I'm that guy that I like to go early. I will wait to go be in first and get the good seat. When I used to go to the movie, I would hate waiting till the last minute and then just being all like, oh, sit where you get.
Yeah, front row.
Where would you get?
I was friends with people like you, and I would just show up on, as the movie's starting with a seat reserved.
Yeah, and I was happy to do that for people too, because I was just be like, I know that no one's going to do this, and I want to do it, so I'm going to be that guy. You're welcome.
Reserved seats at the movie theater, best thing since sliced bread. Like, greatest advent of the 21st century, reserving seats at a movie theater.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The VIP,
sure,
at Lansdowne and stuff, where you can actually book your seat. It's phenomenal. Anyway,
I used to just put my coat down and then rip back to the arcade for 25 minutes.
That's way back.
The old, oh my God, what was that place called at the bottom of Saint Laurent? The arcade. Cyberdome. Wow. They had this epic skiing game.
I'll take you way back. I used to hit the Wizard at Shoppers City. If anyone knows
Wizard.
what Shoppers City was. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Ogilvy Road. I think that was only in the East End arcade. That was the spot.
Wow. Yeah. I forgot it was called the Wizard. It changed to something else after that too.
It became a video store. Became a video store.
Video Flicks. But beside Video Flicks, there was the Wizard. Oh my God, I remember that. I wasn't allowed in there. My parents like, don't go in the Wizard.
Oh yeah,
not allowed in there with all those misfits like Greg Campbell.
All the misfits, everyone standing outside smoking. I remember being a kid like, wow, this is the coolest place ever. Everyone's smoking cigarettes, smoking in the arcade. I'm like, wow, leather coats, heavy metal music playing.
Yeah, wow, that's hilarious. What a flashback. How was your weekend, Greg?
It was good. I did a little bit of work. I took a new client out for some showings, and had a lot of showings on my listing. One of my listings in Orleans. We're doing offers today. Pretty excited about that. I think we're going to break records with this one. It's in the K-Van community in Orleans. It's basically the only listing that's come up since they started resale or since they started completion, and then owners were just selling right away, basically flipping the new build. With upgrades. Like they updated the whole house. So the place is spectacular. And we're on at 625, and I think we're going to shatter that by many.
Where is it located, sir?
So off of Venice Road, where the old driving range used to be in the K-Van community.
Yeah. Golfland.
Yeah.
The Golfland community?
The Golfland. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes today, but I'm pretty pumped about it. Yeah. I'll let you know next week.
Yeah, please do. Yeah. Excited to hear the change in the multi-offer process, if there has been any.
No, you know what's funny is that, and this one's good. Like I did a no conveyance, like no offers period, because we know that it's a hot property. Yeah. And it's like I'm saying if the property is spectacular for what else has been going on in the area, it's worth doing that. And you know, we will have 5 offers. I'm not sure. We have 1 already so far this morning that came in to start off. But overall, looking at the market, I was just looking at the numbers in Orleans again today, and the average list to sales price is 100%. Like it's just 100%. It's the same. So there's still properties selling under, it's proper selling at list, and there's a few selling over list, but the average is about 100. It's like 102%. So, don't get discouraged, buyers. Not every home is selling in multiple offers over list price.
And how old is this development where they signed the purchase agreement to now completion?
They moved in. Well, they've been living there.
Oh, okay.
19. It was one of the first sections that was actually move-in. So they've been there for 2 years. Now they're selling. They bought a bigger home because they're both working from home. And I think I mentioned them before on the show. They're my friends that were trying to build, but with all the stuff going on with the land and conservation and stuff, they're just like, you know what, forget it. We're not going to wait another 2 years. So they bought a bigger house, and they said, now at least we can stay here until they give us the go ahead, and we're not going to be hating where we live. So yeah, it's good.
Got it. Okay. Well, let's keep us posted.
I'll keep you posted. You guys want to let me jump into that little house Sigma thing here for a minute? Cool.
Sure.
You guys cool with that?
Yeah.
Friends?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, friend.
So let's we'll talk about it right now just briefly. Everybody listening, if you haven't checked it out, there's an app that's been around, I should say, in Toronto for a while called House Sigma. And it is it's a pretty hot tool. It'll give you listings,
tools,
give you hot tools, give you market trends. Like I'm just looking at it online right now. Sold and active listings, market temperature, the absorption rate indicates how fast homes are selling, investor demand, I should say, rent ratios, sold price distribution, property type distribution. And it's in Ottawa now. It came out last week, and it's a great tool for agents in terms of, on the fly, being able to assess what a property might be worth if you're out for showings. It's also good for home sellers to get a snapshot of what their home may be worth before they call an agent to look at selling. Or just home buyers, like looking at statistics and the real numbers before they go out and look for a home, and just they can see the averages and the price differences, like the change year over year, 10-year value changes, 5-year value change. Like 5-year value change right now, Ottawa, I'm looking at up 42%, 10-year value change up 81%. Crazy. Great tool.
You know where they get their data from?
Well, they pull it from the board. They pull it from the MLS, and they're actually an active brokerage. So you can work with these guys, and they on the site, it says contact House Sigma agent, tour via video chat with Zoom or WhatsApp. So they've got a pretty slick platform here. Discuss, look at this link. Discuss on Reddit. Discuss properties with House Sigma data. and House Sigma data with other users. And they're also hiring. So I was gonna bring it up on screen, but I think to all our listeners, I think we're gonna have them on the show. They reached out to us, which is great. It shows that we're making some moves too. This company is following our show, and they reached out and asked if they could possibly be a guest and if we could talk about the app. So of course we're not being paid to talk. This is just information, just letting everyone know that. I feel like one of those guys. Are we at that level now where I can say this is not a paid promotion?
Yeah.
Are we there? I think we're there. Soon we'll be doing paid promotions. But yeah, so we'll have these guys on. I recommend everyone check it out, housesigma.com. And you
Now,
can
do you know, Greg,
market.
do you know if they charge, or what's the
Well, no, not to
for
use
signing
the app,
up,
they don't
like
charge.
registering? Pardon me?
No, they don't. I registered an account. It's all free. It's free info. So
That's
I'm
great.
assuming they make their money by getting leads, because they're actually a brokerage.
Got
I'm
it.
assuming they get leads like
Selling
any
off the
other
leads.
Yeah. However
that's
they want
cool.
to do it. Very cool.
So
I'd recommend that everybody check it out. Go ahead, Paul.
yeah, no, we definitely need to have them on, and it'd be interesting to see what their, like, when you have a business model like that, I'd be interested to see what their projections for the overall market are in the coming, 5-10 years. If you're that aggressive on your technology, on your evolution of the market, what's the end game in their head? Like, what do they have a different outlook, I would assume, than most brokerages. Also, I was saying to you guys before we came on here that I've been seeing a lot of unreserved ads on television, like cable TV, watching the hockey game or what have you, seeing unreserved pop up. And then follow-up commercial right after unreserved is realtor.ca, also pumping the marketplace with ads. So I wonder, Greg, on your end, like, have you heard from other real estate agents as far as, pushing realtor to be more like market friendly, I guess, to kind of promote using a realtor and so on? Because I feel like there's been more of that lately that I've seen.
I haven't heard of that, and this is the first time I've heard of, what you're talking about, just because I don't watch cable TV. So I wouldn't see that, but that's very interesting. And I'm not surprised at all. If like unreserved started doing more promotion like that, if realtor.ca was like, oh man, we better get at it. Show them that there's not just unreserved to work with, that realtors are still important. It's very interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, I have to ask you, and I mean, I am fully aware of the value of using an agent, but in your opinion, with these sorts of systems coming out, access to selling data, sales data, buying data, access to list your home, minimal commissions, oh my gosh, and conditions likely, where, if someone was presenting this to you, like, where do you find your greatest value is when working with clients?
It's just the actual, it's the one-on-one. It's the real conversation, as opposed to just gathering information from a bunch of different sources. It's it feel like somebody's actually helping you and working for you and has your best interest. Mm-hmm. It's like I've said before, I love all these tools. I think they're great, and they're great for the right people. A lot of people can sell their house on their own 100%, but a lot of people can't. And sometimes the people that can't don't know that until they try it. So they try it and they figure it out, and that's, good for them. I mean, that's how we all learn, right? Learn from your mistakes. So some people can use these tools to be successful, and the others, they're better off working with an agent.
Like the toughest part that I see and hear from people trying to sell on their own is that people are emotionally involved and emotionally attached to their properties. And so it really influences their negotiations. They aren't able to separate
100%.
the emotion from the equation, and leads to them actually getting less or tipping their hat in a negotiation and things like that, where, that commission becomes irrelevant because of the way that they've negotiated or haven't. They've kind of foot in the sand, and then their property sits for ages because they are emotionally attached to it, and then sell at a way lesser price because of that.
I've got a perfect example for you. So I did a purchase about a month ago now, I guess. Probably 6 weeks ago. And it was a for sale by owner. Well, it wasn't a for sale by owner. It was an alternative brokerage. And they had been on for 2 days. Their price was great. The house was great. We went in low. On day 2, they had 5 other showings booked for the next day. And then they countered our offer at full price, which we took. And, you know, if we hadn't of, the other showings would have happened, and then we could have risked being in a multiple offer scenario. But we got it at full price. The house was worth more. We would have paid more for it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just working with a, not really working with a true representative, I should say, who had their best interest. You know, they probably could have got an extra 15K at least out of that. Or if they waited, they could have got more. So, you know, but that's exactly to your point, is saving that commission worth the difference in the bottom line?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it is, a lot of the times it isn't.
Do you think that apps like House Sigma and others how do you think your realtor colleagues within the city will kind of approach a new technology like this kind of coming in? Because I know people were there's a lot of very much against unreserved, and that's not even giving information away. Like House Sigma is giving a lot of the market details away, which I assume probably a lot of your colleagues are not thrilled about. But how do you see the kind of ripple effect from them or chatter from them on things like this?
I haven't really talked to anyone about House Sigma yet. I've only talked to a few people that have known that it's been in the GTA for a while, and they think it's amazing. So, I think it's a great tool. I don't think too many people are going to have a problem with it. I mean, unless you're like a real old and angry agent that is just like, oh, the information is mine. Pay me for the information. You know, like everybody's got to be open to it. It's there, and it's only going to get better for the consumer as time goes on. Like it's only going to get like crazier and crazier, the amount of information that's out there. Right. I've even seen a couple of articles by major tech firms who they state two things. They state that this will, completely change the real estate industry. And then they follow it up with, but we do believe that there will always be a need for a professional realtor to help with the process.
It kind of goes with that,
like making technology that can just do it all without them. They're still validating us.
Well, in the States, there was like Zillow just like unloaded a lot of staff and lost a ton of money because they're built on AI, on home valuation and all of that, and then listing, et cetera. And their AI was getting housing prices wrong because it wasn't up to date enough or reading the market in that exact moment. I think they had to slash their employee base by like 50% in the last month or so. So it kind of goes, they're one of the biggest AI for home valuation and things like that, right? But based in the States, and they've kind of shown that human interaction or human intervention was really needed to kind of keep a finger on the pulse.
Yeah, well, that's what happened. Just so anyone that doesn't know what happened was the AI technology was just buying homes at what they believed was the projected price, which was way above what anyone else would pay for the property. And they were doing that over and over and over and over again until it made no sense. So they had all this leftover inventory that they couldn't sell at what they paid for it, and that's AI. That's a very interesting thing that happened there, to think about it. It's, it was a great technology. It was working, and then it screwed up because it just the predictions were way out.
The AI got greedy. It got greedy.
Greedy AI.
It went AI. It went all in.
I hate that.
It was playing Monopoly to win. It was playing Monopoly to win. It was on hyper mode.
Hotel. We deal with that too on our side. Like, I mean, the technology we've seen even in the 9 years or so we've been in the industry, that it's just accelerated, and every year over year it just gets better, more intuitive. Even our app now, which we are very supportive of, when a client fills out their profile, it reads their application actually, based on what type of employment they have, how they're paid. It'll request what they call smart documents. So it'll actually read the application. If they're salaried, it'll ask for the right documents. If they're self-employed, it'll ask for the right documents. If they're, separated or divorced, it'll ask for those. It basically tailors the documents we ask for based on how they fill out their application. And on our end, there's obviously the fear of, well, there's systems you can plug in all the data for the mortgage and then it spits out, what the best solution might be and so on. So really it's that the general public, it's their adoption of this technology that's ultimately the barrier, right? And like you said, Greg, like most people still want that personal connection right now, especially when you're talking with finances. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not, millions of dollars. People still like to at least have a person they can hold accountable if something goes sideways, or someone they can actually phone, call and be like, what the hell's happening here? So I still think we're a few years away, but really that consumer adoption is the biggest barrier to entry, in my opinion. Like the tech's only going to get better and better and better. It's a matter of when can it become foolproof and when are people going to trust it enough to not deal with a human. It'll be in the metaverse. Facebook will be selling homes in the metaverse in the next 5 years.
We need to do a full episode. I'm studying that, but we need to do a full episode on that because it's happening now and it's crazy. For anyone that doesn't know, there's people buying $1 million properties in the metaverse. They're buying land at $4 million. Think about that for a second. We'll tell you more soon.
I didn't know that, but that's very intriguing.
I'll sit back and listen because I don't know any of this, and I feel like I need to buy up all the tinfoil possible at the dollar store and come on the episode.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Once I have a better grasp of the whole thing, I'll do a little piece on it for sure.
That's hysterical.
Well, I've read somewhere that once people spend more than 50% of their time in that verse, then it becomes essentially the real world. Like people are there more than they're here. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
buying land there, that's very interesting. But once you can get into that metaverse and start making money that you can translate into the real world, which will basically be there since existence, it'll be very interesting to see the next wave of the next generation of people shifting their money into that. We see all the money transitioning right now to crypto, which we kind of talked about now with 3 trillion market cap. I mean, the metaverse is next, right? People start taking their money from the real world, putting it into that digital world. We'll see what happens. The next 10 years will be interesting. I say 10 being generous.
If you want some quick information, go check Decentraland or Sandbox on YouTube, and you can get a little bit of info.
You'll fall in a rabbit hole, is what Greg's saying. Clear your schedule for the day. Clear your meetings.
It's very easy to happen.
Speaking of home buying experiences, which we haven't really talked about, but we're going to talk about it. Stephen, our producer, was telling us before the show about his experience with his most recent home purchase. And Stephen, did you use any of these great systems that we're talking about, or did you go old school?
We were super old school. We had no idea what the hell we were doing at all. So we opted to use professional people because we especially in the when we walked into the market, it was like mid to late August, which was kind of this weird pocket in the Ottawa market where it was like kind of quiet but not really. We had no idea what to expect. We walked in like ready to go into like the long haul. Like we expected to be shopping for 7 months, and maybe if we were lucky, we would find something that worked out in like January or February when no one wanted to sell or buy in the winter kind of thing. Mm-hmm. In the end, it ended up, like Paul and Dave brokered our mortgage, which was great. Didn't use Greg, but I used someone Greg would agree with, Marty. No, I had to make. So here's the way the chips fell on that. I had to make a compromise because my mother, who worked at TD Bank for her entire career, was livid at the idea of us using a mortgage broker and not just defaulting to TD Bank, and that was that. So we had to use
like a TD Bank employee.
Yeah, so we had to use mom's agent was the compromise.
And she's a great agent.
Yeah, Marty was fantastic. She knew what she was doing. She knew all the stuff to look out for. So it was good. But yeah, once we actually got going, it happened way quicker than we expected it to, frankly. It was like a whirlwind of kind of craziness. And, we thought we were going to be shopping kind of on the bleeding edge of our budget. And we ended up about $100,000 less than we thought we were going to spend. And we ended up, a lot, in a much better position than we thought we were going to. So all that to say, if you're going in there, with your tail between your legs, it's not that bad.
Well, I mean, I think to your point, Steve, it's also getting prepared, right? I mean, you knew that the market was going to be busy. You kind of were expecting a long haul, but you kind of getting that pre-approval and going in prepared and all that, and really just kind of keeping your options open, looking at everything, not pigeonholing yourself or being, afraid of the market, kind of just. It was
kind of, and like, it's funny too, like the week that we decided, okay, let's have a conversation with Paul about, what our mortgage options are. It was a week and I'm sure I could find the show if I looked for it, but it was like most weeks where we have the conversation where, Greg says, you know what, the best day to buy is now. And the next best day is tomorrow. And I was just like, shit, maybe he's right. And then like 2 days later, we talked to Paul. And sure enough, yeah, you guys were right. It was the best time to buy. It worked out way better than we were ever expecting. We thought we were going to be either, all the way out in Orleans or south of the city, like at the far end of Barrhaven. And, we ended up in Gloucester, 10 minutes from downtown, way closer than we thought we would ever be to downtown, which was, kind of the driving thing for us. We liked being downtown. But the place we were living in Centertown, we kind of got pigeonholed into, because we were rent-evicted out of the glebe, like most people under 50. And, the place we were living in was a compromise, and it was a compromise we made before a global pandemic. So we were living in, a place that was already too small for us that we were just kind of dealing with. And then, both ended up working full time out of for 19 months. So
I think what it really boils down to, though, Stephen, is that you realize that the three of us represent Beacon Hill on Torup, and you just wanted to join the Torup crew.
That's true.
Beacon Hill.
That's true.
Really
bring it full circle. Yeah.
Realize that Torup is BH, and you were the odd man out.
The
Yeah,
best
absolutely.
time to buy in Beacon Hill is today.
Yeah.
The second best time to buy in Beacon Hill is
Everyone
tomorrow.
buy in
Let's
Beacon
be
Hill.
honest here, Stephen.
It's a great spot. And like we ran into tons of, like I'm sure a lot of, especially first time buyers probably are influenced like heavily by family, especially, like parents and other, like homeowners in their family are going to be the experts to them. Right. And kind of really, really influence them. And I feel like if we had kind of given into that, cause the first thing when I sent, the listing for the place we're in now, I sent it to my mom, and the first thing was like, oh, it's right next to Jasmine Crescent. And my mom's still living in 1995, thinks that, it's like this hive of gang activity and stuff, when that is absolutely not the case. Like, there are 3 schools around us. There are children in the streets every day. Like, it is not that at all. Yeah. So, and it's not an area that, I've lived in Ottawa my whole life, but I don't frequent Gloucester. I grew up in Manotick and Greeley. So I was in a completely different part of the city. So it's not an area I'm super familiar with either. But no, it's great.
Cool. Well, the most important question, is that Thanos' sword in the background?
No, it's
not.
not.
Is that in the corner?
It's not. We don't need to go into that. It's from another thing. This
Okay.
was like the first time the first time I ever went, when we first got Comic-Con in Ottawa, and I'm now showing the audience that I'm a gigantic nerd. I mean, obviously. But the first time we had one, we walked in there and walked around on the floor, and I saw this thing over my shoulder, and like it's the perspective's weird because my lens is really wide, but like this thing's like 4.5 feet long, and it's just cut aircraft aluminum, so it's like probably 120 pounds. And we've been on the floor for like 10 minutes, and I was like, oh man, that's awesome, I'm gonna buy it. So 20 minutes in, and I'm carrying around this 120 pound piece of metal for the rest of the day because the car's like parked over at the airport. Anyways, but yeah,
that's awesome.
It was great. Like Paul and Dave, to your guys' credit, you guys were phenomenal at kind of keeping us in check. We were incredibly nervous about how we stood, like where our footing was for a mortgage. Me being a sole proprietor, And like, I had no idea what I looked like on paper as far as banks or anyone giving us a substantial amount of money was concerned. And, that ended up, very quickly being assuaged that, we were fine. And even when there was an issue with the lender at one point, by the time you guys told us, you already had someone else kind of like piped in, ready to go sign the paperwork. So it was really a non-issue as far as we concerned. So all that stuff was awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I think that
you got. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Greg.
I was just going to say, and when you submitted your offer, it was conditional as well, right? On finance.
Yeah, it was our first offer. Our original offer was 50,000 under ask with conditions and inspection. We ended up about 13,000 under ask with all of our conditions and inspection and everything, which again, like at the time of shopping, was just not a thing that a lot of people were getting in Ottawa. So it was awesome.
I think it just goes to show. I think it goes to show for home buyers that were sitting on the, in the wings, unsure of the market. Again, having that perception that you're going to pay, or you're only going to get something at, X price, that it is possible. Really just kind of getting your ducks in a row and getting a search going that you can. There are places out there for all budgets and getting conditions or things like that. Not to be too dismayed.
Yeah, none of that like looking around or anything is costing you any money particularly. So why not? Like why wait for like this perfect set of conditions to show up when, in reality you could be looking that whole time, and then the 1 week that property appears, and it's what happened to us. We found the one, it had been sitting for a month, and we were like, all right, well, let's go for it. And now I'm sitting in the basement.
I know we kind of take it for granted because we're in the industry, and it seems like the process is very simple, but I think a lot of people overthink the process as well, thinking that it's going to be incredibly hard and challenging. And a lot of moving parts. And there is a lot of moving parts. I shouldn't discount that, but when you're working with people that are in the industry, like we can make it seamless, right? Like we can actually take a lot of that weight off your plate so that you don't have to be running around like a chicken with your head cut off. We can actually take you from step to step and make sure that it does run smoothly. And then when you do find your home, it's not overwhelming and everything's done in a timely manner and, is taken care of for you.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys for the house that I'm sitting in. So, I think, a lot of the decisions that we made and, things that we did leading up to going into it were influenced by, me running this show for you guys for the last year and a bit. So, I've learned a lot, and I like, obviously other people stand to learn a lot as well. So hopefully they're listening.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Good stuff. Okay.
Appreciate that insight. Mood boost?
Are we doing mood boost now?
We might be there. I'm also going to buy some metaverse today. Just throwing it out there.
Meta hero.
Let's see. Mood boosts. I got 3. I just got to find them. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Number 1, what type of computer does a horse like to eat? An apple.
Yes. Yes. They do like their apples.
Number 2, what is the worst part about working for the Department of Unemployment? Even if you get fired, you still have to show up to work the next day. Still have to go to work since you're unemployed. Number 3, Dad, what are you doing today? Me, I'm going to get glasses. Dad, and then what are you going to do? Me, I'll see.
I like that one.
I'll see.
One.
Because I now have seeing glasses.
That's right. You can see much better.
I can see clearly now. Toe wrap is done.
Last week's were much better.
Yeah. They can't all be winners, You need losers to get winners.
Oh, they should be, but what?
You need to have some losers. Otherwise, there's no winners, Shout out to North Brew. Forgot to give them a quick shout at the beginning. James Rankin, North Brew, northbrew.ca. Use the promo code podcast and you'll get, you'll get 20% off all of your coffee orders. And Greg, tell us quickly, North Brew portion, I think 20% of their sales also goes towards homeless shelters, right, in Ottawa or in
Shelters,
the area?
Yeah. And the tea goes to the Youth Service Bureau.
There you go. The Youth Services Bureau.
James owes me a call. James owes me a call. Messaged him the other day.
You got the new Blue Panda coffees, don't you? You got the
Blue Panda coffees. Yeah,
I saw the photos.
Yeah,
they're delicious.
They're excellent. We need a referral brew.
Oh yeah, and by the way, if anyone's listening, I still have some mugs that I want to get rid of. So if you want one, just put it in the comments because I'm gonna do. I'm doing some Popeyes. Popeyes. Probably
Popeyes
the end of this
delicious.
week, and I want to drop some off. So if you want a mug, let me know, and just we could DM me your address, and I'll come and see you and drop off a mug.
Just slide into Greg's DMs and he'll get at you.
Yeah, let's do that.
Interesting show, gentlemen. We'll be back next week. We'll come with the fire.
Yeah.
If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like, share, join us each week. We'll be here.
Rambling.
Nothing.
All right.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. We will see you next week. And gentlemen, have a great week. Have a great Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Everything.
Let's go.
The Ottawa Real Estate Podcast is brought to you by Referral Mortgages, Blue Panda Realty, and Stephen Hopkins Video. Thanks for tuning in, and please remember to like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe. We'd love to hear from you.